Do you ever just see something or someone and your heart skips a beat and you get a little lightheaded and you imagine a future where you and that object coexist? That was me with Possessive. Gosh, look at her. She's beautiful. Possessive is a 3-series mini comic by Zenescope Entertainment. The writer is Adam F. Goldberg and Hans Rodionoff. And it came out July this year, 2021. The story is about Todd, the guy on the left with my waifu. And Todd's a loser. He sucks. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't have any prospects. He's an alcoholic. His wife's trying to divorce him and he's clinging onto it. She's keeping the kids. So what does Todd decide to do? Todd puts all of their life savings into an old crappy house and hopes that it'll impress them enough to come back to him. Now, little does Todd know, but the house is haunted by the beautiful, enchanting, magical Catherine. Catherine is a ghost who is tied spiritually to me and this house. You see, Catherine was brutally murdered by her ex-husband over 100 years ago. Poor thing. And now she's stuck here. And she just wants to be left alone. She doesn't need anyone getting all up in her stuff. Especially not a loser like Todd. Ugh. So Todd tries to renovate the haunted mansion that he's purchased, hoping that it'll impress his ex-wife. But, you know, Todd's a loser, and he sucks at it. So what does Todd do? He hires the lowest rated renovationists off Yelp. And these renovation people aren't nice people, you see. Todd leaves them alone in his brand new house so that he can go and try and sell one of his crappy paintings. And what do? They decide to rob the place. But little did they know, this ain't Todd's house. This is Catherine's house. So, the beautiful Catherine does what any self-respecting ghost would do. And she brutally murders these. I mean, she defends her property against these thieves. These disgusting thieves that want to steal her stuff. And then we move back to Todd. You know what Todd does? Todd gets drunk. And he waddles off into his greenhouse and tries to paint one of his crappy paintings again. Now, Todd, being an idiot, wakes up and thinks he just painted a horrendous mess of a painting. But then he's interrupted by a knock on the door. And it's his ex-wife. And she once again is trying to get him to sign his damn divorce papers. So Todd, assuming the carpenters got locked in his basement, decides to open the door. And then he is introduced to her grace, the wonderful Catherine, once again. And instead of being a gentleman, he panics and runs from her. Now, I'm not going to get into spoilers with this. Well, too many spoilers, so I'm not going to say what happens here. But Catherine and Todd don't get along at first. She keeps breaking all of his stuff. She keeps destroying all of his alcohol. And this all has ties back to her life when she was a human, even though I much prefer her the way she is now. She's perfect. So a now miserable and sobering Todd, who is going through the middle of this divorce, decides the one thing left for him to do now is to just end his life. But Todd's a loser, and he can't even do that right. So he goes, well, hang on, why do I have to end my life when there's someone here who will end my life for me? So he confronts the wonderful Catherine and decides to antagonize her and try and convince her to kill him. So to Todd's dismay, Catherine won't kill him. And instead, she helps him. You see, once Todd is off the alcohol, which she's been forcing him away from, he starts to see things a bit clearer. And he starts painting again. And she helps him with the painting. And his life starts to come together, and he gets more confident in himself, and his painting starts selling because of the positive influence that Catherine has had on his life, because she's a beautiful soul. Oh. So Todd, with his newfound confidence and his renewed life, finally signs the divorce papers and hands them off to his ex-wife. And she's shocked about the change that he's taken. So Todd rushes on back home to Catherine, and they have this really heartwarming moment where they watch the Great British Bake Off together. And, you know, they share some pizza. And then Catherine invites Todd up into her attic, which is something very sacred to her. And they play some of her favorite music, which is jazz. And they embrace and they dance. And the magic happens. And I'm so jealous of Todd in this moment. But the magic happens. Oh, why couldn't it be me? So then Todd and Kath are rudely interrupted by a knock on the door. And what do you know? It's Jess, Todd's ex-wife. And she wants him back after seeing all the improvements Catherine has helped him become. Now, this is where I'm going to stop talking about what happens in the story. It's quite obvious that I really, really enjoyed this one, and there's a whole nother issue to go after this, and I've intentionally cut out a lot of the plot here. There's so much humor in this comic. It had me laughing out loud, like hilariously laughing out loud at some of the jokes and just the tone of this book. I obviously love Catherine. I don't know why. She just hits me in the heart in a spot. Like, oh, Todd, you're doing her dirty. Treat that woman with respect. She's the good kind. If she was mine, we would have such a good life together. Mania and Catherine. I can see it right now. Anyway, back on topic. This comic book is so good. It caught me by surprise, and I'm so upset that it's only 3 issues. Now, they are long issues. Each one is like 36 pages or something like that. So you can read it in about half an hour, and you do get a decent amount here. But I wish this was ongoing. This is a sort of romantic triangle sort of thing that I would have loved to have sunk my teeth and my heart into. And the writers could do it, you know. These characters are all great, and I understand all the motivations for all of them. And it's so short but so sweet. If you like what you've seen so far, I'll put a link in the description below as to where you can pick up this comic, and I highly suggest you give this one a read. It's almost perfect. Screw Todd. You're the worst. You suck. Catherine is my waifu for lifu. And let me know what you think in the comments below.